We are continuing our series about what I learned from film school and my time there. Now, I'm also thinking about doing a whole nother leg of the series where I go into like the lighting, the editing, the video, all the other stuff. But today, what I want to talk about was the sort of like perfectionism trap and what I had to learn from film school to actually get paid. Film school is great for a lot of things, but I feel like it's not good for an entrepreneur's productivity. It trains you to think like a director, and I struggled with that for a really long time. Just thinking everything had to be perfect and that it had to be visually pleasing, and that's what would make me money. So, with that, I was in a constant battle with like my own brain, my own head. And I had to unlearn a lot of the things that I was taught about what a good video in terms of business looks like. So I could actually start hitting my income goals. And yeah, I mean, so let's get into it. First thing was the 3 hour lighting setup. Now, in film school, we spent hours, literally, sometimes hours, or however long that class would be. Sometimes my class would only almost be like 2 or 3 hours, moving a single light an inch to the left, to the right to get the perfect shadow. If I did that today, I'd probably be broke and probably would have driven myself crazy as well. So, what I realized once I started working with nonprofits and small business owners is that they don't really care about the cinematic shadows. They care if people actually see their faces and hear their messages. So, when those nonprofits moved online during the pandemic, which was when I majority like really started taking everything seriously, which I have another video about. Anyway, when they moved online, they were paying me to get training videos out to the children in my city. Like they were paying me to get it out now, not later. And they didn't have time for a 3 hour setup. They needed to record it today. And they were quite literally on a mission and they had other things to do. People in nonprofits, they're like some of my favorite people because, yeah, they're just very mission driven. So yeah, I had to learn that visible and clear video beats cinematic and slow. So personally, me, when I'm recording videos now, I use lighting for my window. I might check my audio. I try to make sure there's not a lot of noise in the background in turn, but also sometimes I'm in a city area, so you'll hear police cars and ambulances and whatever. Hey, I can't do nothing about that. And I'm not recording a video over again. And so that speed is what allows me to literally batch a month's worth of content in 2 hours and move on with my life. And as a matter of fact, I actually try to get out more because I'm literally just recording the video, uploading it, see how it performs, and then doing it over and over. Okay, so the second thing is unlearning the sort of like masterpiece mindset, the broad film mindset. A lot of people really struggle with this because I don't know, maybe they've waited to get on video for so long and they have so much to say that when it's actually time for them to get started, get on YouTube, get on video, they think that it's sort of like they have to make this really grand entrance and everything has to be perfect in level production and it has to look like you're a news anchor from off of channel 6 news and yeah, it just has to, and they think that if it's not that way, it won't get results and that people will actually look at them weird. And so college teaches you to, work really long on these, 10-minute masterpieces. So I had that mindset as well. But in the online world, if you literally post every 3 months, every 6 months, and relying on social media, or you want, not only just relying, but you want to get clients from social media. And if you do that, if you wait a very long time, there's going to be missed opportunity costs You're missing opportunities, one, and then literally the algorithm and your bank account will literally just forget that you exist. It's, yeah, you just have to get content out faster. Again, this is where I see a lot of the people I work, they kind of glitch the most. I call it glitch because it's because they think that they can't post without an awesome background, or that their background is perfect, or that they stumbled over a word. And mind you, backgrounds are like kind of subjective. What you might think is really horrible, somebody else might not pay no attention to. So just think about that. As long as it's pretty clean and it's not too distracting, you should be good. Third thing is I'm learning the perfect editing. So I think high end production value has its place on Netflix television. You'd expect things to be perfect, and you'd expect an actor to not be tripping over their word unless it's a part of the movie or whatever. But in the content world, it's not necessarily needed. I remember when I first started my podcast, I would edit out every single laugh, chuckle, just everything that just, it all needed to go. And, as a naturally kind of like, I want to use the word silly. I'm a very happy person for the most part. And I just thought that editing it out would make me more professional, but instead, what it actually did was make the video very choppy. The audio sounded pretty good, but the video looked very choppy. It's not fun to look at. It again looks kind of glitchy. We're going to use the word glitchy. And then actually, what I've actually found is that a lot of my clients and people online completely agree with me that they want to hear the laugh and they want to see your personality. And you don't necessarily have to cut everything out that you don't deem as professional. You could just let it flow. So learning when and what to cut, especially when you're editing, if you edit, it can be a really delicate fine line, in my opinion. But more and more, what we're actually seeing is people editing less and not editing at all and just talking. And it's coming across really well. And then number four, I'm learning the script or learning scripting. So I used to be petrified to record without a word for word script. And I thought that being professional kind of meant you sounded and looked like a news anchor. But the irony in that is the more I scripted, the more I sounded like a robot. And if you show up like a robot on social media, you will eventually be treated like one and only build transactional relationships with your audience. Now, if that's what you're going for, by all means. But I had to learn how to sort of like trust my brain. And I have videos about this that I created like a few months ago. And I'm really happy that I went in that direction. It's going to be really hard to go back if I do, if I'm being honest. But um, it's like when you've been in the industry for years, you or my clients, you're literally an expert. You don't necessarily have to read off a script every single time. Now I use what I call sort of like guiding questions. So I know the point I want to make and I just talk, and either that or to write the script out, I don't write it like intro, middle part, outro. I do like I actually talk. So like I'll talk in a script before I record, if that makes sense, which kind of gives the same appeal. In video production, you're taught to follow a very rigid process. In business, you kind of just have to pivot and make decisions on the fly sometimes, and you have to deliver results. So by letting go of the need of everything to be cinematic and perfect, I learned how to prioritize what actually matters, and that's marketing and sales over what just looks pretty. I also have what I call like a translator brain. So I know all the high end video production rules so well that like I know exactly which ones to break to make a Zoom edit or a phone video look professional without the really hefty price tag. So if you're stuck in perfectionist mode and you're frozen in it, I'm telling you right now that your messy content is literally someone else's breakthrough. And so we're going to end it, and you're going to think about what mindset shift are you holding on to that's stopping you from hitting record. Is that everything needs to be perfect? Is that you don't think that you have the best location to get set up? Are you waiting for that one piece of gear to arrive to magically make you feel better about yourself or make you feel like more of an expert? Whatever it is, it's literally a story that your brain is telling you to keep you safe. But safe doesn't always get you clients, it doesn't get you paid, it doesn't get you opportunities. At least that's what I've learned. So the way that you get over it is simple. You record one video. Don't think about the next 100 videos that you need to make. Just think one. And then you make the next one. And then eventually those fears about whatever your hair looks like, your background, your yapping, you oversharing, they'll eventually start to fade and they'll get quieter. And then eventually they'll just stop altogether because you've created so many videos that you don't even think about it no more. If you're ready to start using YouTube to actually get clients, leads, and opportunities, there are two ways that we can work together. One is you can join my free workshop, YouTube for Business. You can learn the exact type of content that brings in clients from YouTube, not just views. I talk about the type of content to post, how YouTube works, a few of the strategies that I use to get clients, or you can get my Edit Like a Savvy Pro video editing course. This course includes everything that I've learned from editing videos from corporations and film school. It shows you how to edit simple and clean videos. So you won't find like Mr. Beast style editing in my video editing course. It's literally like if your video is really super bad to the point where you're like, yeah, I just wish I could cut out this part and maybe add some pictures and some videos over it and stuff like that. That's who that course is for. So, yeah, thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.